Peace and love. Blessings, beautiful beings. This is Asaya Mystic coming to you with another message to help you free your heart and soul. Today I'm talking about Vudu Doll from Black Ink and her cult family, as she so calls them. Disclaimer before I go any further in speaking, I am not talking against Vudu Doll and her experiences. I'm not, interjecting and putting myself into people's family business or anything like that. I am simply using their narrative to make a point. So before I go any further, I'm just gonna say that I do not know Vudu Doll personally, but I have met her family. They are, or they go by the name House of Maru, and her stepfather that she talks about wrote a book. Their family wrote a book, and the book was being sold on Amazon, but I recently tried to look it up, but it wasn't listed. So if you want to try and look up the book and see if you can get the book, I'm not sure where it is currently, but it's called The Holy Bible of Canaan, Possessions of the Jinn, using reverse.
Oh, I like the door open.
Yeah, we're out here.
Oh, you was gone. Oh, you was gone.
Using the power of reverse esoteric psychology. And this book, I read it like about a year or so ago, and it was one of the most fascinating books I had ever read in my life. It was very eye-opening. It was very it was like a perspective I had never been faced with before in relationship to the quote-unquote Black community and our origins. That book gave me so much insight, and it also inspired a lot of the work that I am doing currently when it comes to the origins of indigenous people and getting people to really zoom out and see life for what it is, and not getting so caught up in these illusions that we are being presented with day in and day out that just want to suck up our energy. Meanwhile, we're giving our energy to these illusions, and the state of the population, the population's health, the state of the world's health, the state of the earth's health seems to be going in a rapid decline. Ancient wisdom is being lost or forgotten because of our residual energy being given to things that just are superficial, and they don't give to life. They don't uplift life. Now, the book was great. I love the book. Now, their personal family life, that's a whole nother thing. And I feel like their situation is very symbolic of a lot of people's situations when it comes to family life and childhood trauma. So, me personally, I don't think that she grew up in a cult. I don't think that her family is a cult. I don't think that they're anything like that. I think that they just choose to live their life outside of the matrix, outside of the chaos that's going on today, outside of the mainstream, what mainstream society is saying is okay. they're living their life in the ways that they deem is suitable and righteous to them. Now, when she grew up, in their household, this is my reading and energy that I get from it. I feel like she was raised in the ways that they felt they should raise her, according to their philosophies and ways of life. Where the problem is seated is in the fact that you have this way of life, you have this way of living that you implement so harshly into your family dynamic that you forget what it means to love your family. You forget what it means to cherish your family. I think when one thing happens in a family dynamic that is traumatizing to a child, it doesn't matter if you gave them everything in the world. If one traumatic event happened in that child's life, be it physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, everything else you do, if you don't ever acknowledge that one trauma, if you don't ever acknowledge that one thing that happened, then nothing else will matter. Nothing else will matter that you did for your child, that you gave to your child, that you are continuously giving to your child. They're not gonna care because they've been traumatized, and what they want and what they need now is the healing love of their parents. So in Voodoo Doll's case specifically, her mom, because she feels disconnected from her stepdad, because of her past with him, and she feels as though her mom betrayed her and is still betraying her because she refuses to love her. She refuses to sit down and just be there for her versus be self-absorbed about what it is that's going on in their family life. And this is essential for when you are a mom, when you are a mother, when you are in a family dynamic, to remember that things and children, and even when they grow up, will act out, will say things, because I feel like her expressions over what happened to her as she was growing up is very dramatic and is very expounded. Like, I feel like she's doing a lot, but I don't feel like it's coming from an ingenuine place. So to others it may seem like, oh, she's lying or she's making it up, but at the end of the day, it's not about whether or not everything that she's saying makes sense to you. It's about, my child is hurting, something's going on with her, and this is something that the family needs to acknowledge as a family. So that is one contradiction that I noticed, is that in their book they talk about how you should use the term we when you want to evoke your higher self, when you want to evoke your higher being. Use the term we. Don't use the term I, don't use the term you, because whenever you use those terms, you immediately are evoking your lower self, your individual self, your separated self. So when you are focusing on you, I feel like something's wrong with you. I feel like well, I think from your own book, from your own teachings, you should zoom out and say, well, I think that we should do a reading on everyone in the family. I think that we should have a family meeting. I think that we should do whatever it is that we can to have a healthy relationship, to have a healthy environment for each other. And I think that's what a lot of families are failing to realize, with all the philosophies and all the higher knowledge and all the great things that you have to bring to the community and to the people, to help them and live a better life. It's like you get so caught up in that you forget how to even love. You forget the simple things. You forget the stuff you learn in grade school. I don't even say grade school. Stuff you learn in kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? Be loving, be kind. So I know I just previously did a video on how the divine feminine must have boundaries and principles, but when it comes to your children and when it comes to your loved ones, don't let those boundaries and principles lead you to ostracize people in your family, to lead you to ostracize people who are supposed to be, your loved ones. If you say that you love someone and, you do love someone, this is your life, this is your future, don't ostracize them. Create what you feel we could all use to heal the situation, because at the end of the day, the problem that comes out with, like, when people want to cut off their children is that they solely want to look at their children as something's wrong with you. And it's like, bruh, like, you brought them here, you raised them. So as much as you want to feel like you perfect, as much as you want to feel like you did everything right, every relationship in your life is a reflection and it's showing you something. So I think that is something that I got from the scenario, and just the fact that I've met them personally and read their book, it's made me feel like I should say that. And with seeing the recent video that was posted by VH1 and them saying that her mom gaslighted her, it was definitely a type of gaslighting. It was definitely a type of gaslighting. Just because it was almost like she was running from dealing with her daughter. It was running from dealing with the situation. It was too much. Your children and your relationships, especially your children, will reflect to you parts of your soul that you might not be ready to deal with. And so I think that's why she did what she did, because there's certain things that she's not ready to deal with. And for a lot of families, it's like that. And I think with this new generation, like millennials, and the things that we do, older generations like to blame us or think that something's wrong with us for the things that we do, but it's really just a reflection of what needs to be addressed, what needs to be worked on in the family dynamic, what needs to evolve in the family dynamic that wasn't evolving before. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about all I have to say on that. Embrace evolving as a family dynamic. Embrace whatever it is that you need to do as a family to always have love grounding you in your family dynamic. Have your principles and have your boundaries, but don't ever let those things ruin your ability to love at a sincere and deep capacity. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Go to my website. Check out my readings that I have available. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.